You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Tush and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Every time I see that intro, take me back to Miami. Take me back to Miami. Cannot wait. Probably 2026 is looking like at the moment, but you never know. It's draft season. Free agency is in well under a way. That's not even a sentence, but I'm tired, so please forgive me. Today, I am, as always, Kadeem Simmons, and joined by Mr. Charlie Tush. Charlie, tell everyone what time it is.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Tush. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast, and official affiliates of Fanatics, where you could be a fanatic of your favorite franchise. Kadeem, what's the word?
So Tim Cabo says Spain first, and then Hannah Montana says maybe 2026 if you are good. I'm always good. I'll be there in 2026. But on Tim Cabo's,
no more new babies. Like come here, you know what I'm saying, and go back the same way you came.
I agree. Spain first. Charlie, I messaged you in a group, but I know you are very busy at the moment. For those who don't know, there is a rumor that the mayor of Madrid has let slip that the Dolphins will be playing the Bengals on November 16th. I believe November 16th was one of the dates we thought the game could have been due to the football/soccer schedule. But if it is to be the Bengals, what's your initial thoughts and feelings on that being played in Spain?
Hey, everybody hit that subscribe and like button for us. It goes a long way here on GTD. We appreciate y'all. We rock with y'all. Kadeem in the jumper, what he calls a jumper, we just call it a sweatsuit. Sweats.
Nah,
it's
got a hood. Call it a hoodie. It's got a hood.
This guy he's just a walking mannequin now, a Miami mannequin with the Miami Dolphin new apparel. Like no one's just gonna catch it. But Bengals in Spain, Chiefs in Germany. You would kind of like these games at home. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chiefs game was an away game. I'll take it. We played the Chiefs away. We didn't have to play them in Arrowhead. We gave them a run, and we kind of lost that game. It wasn't that the Chiefs beat us. We lost that game. When you add the Bengals, it's a Dolphins home game. So I don't like the idea of Dolphins home games being against people that we don't want to necessarily give an advantage to or lose an advantage to. So it should be a home game. Let's play the paper planes in Spain. You know what I'm saying? Let's play the Buccaneers. That was an option. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not the Bengals, who it can potentially be a playoff seed type of game. Like this could be the 4-1 seed. Not necessarily will be, but it could be for the 1 seed. And you're playing it on a neutral field. I don't like it.
Especially a neutral field, which, you know, neither team has been to before. If it was London, you could probably give the edge to the Dolphins because they've been there quite a few times. But yeah, Spain, Cincinnati. Tim makes a good point. Guess it is kind of an extra home game. Still get 8 games at home. But yeah, you'd want to have what I guess we would consider a layup. But at the same time, you know, any given Sunday, you never know. And as long as, you know, I'm going to say as long as both teams are healthy, I'm not trying to wish injury upon anyone. If I'm going to make that game, and I will be there, you know, I do want to see the best of the best. The best of the best of the best. Sir, what's that from?
I don't know.
Men in Black.
Oh, you're right. I don't have a movie reference counter.
I'm just saying it came to my head. But yeah, Cincinnati. Obviously, I know some people have started to really book, their trains and their hotels and stuff like that, and their flights. I'm probably gonna wait until it's official. But yeah, I guess we shall see. That's the first bit of Dolphins news. I guess the second bit of Dolphins news is friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson, restructuring his contract to free up $9 million in cap space. What did you make of that?
We appreciate you here on Go Time Dolphins, Austin Jackson, friend of the podcast. We knew the restructures were coming. We didn't know how many and who and what they would look like, but I'm here for it. I was really here for the Chubb one because he's going to be fresh. He's ready. He's like, why let him go now when you could restructure and like you get a brand new Bradley Chubb? Like we seen what happened when we added Bradley Chubb. Everybody else got off, and the sack total went up. His sack total wasn't a big deal, but everyone else's, the team sack total, was a big deal. So with Austin Jackson basically giving back some bread or opening up some bread for us, this could only be a good thing. I will say all of these other restructures and not restructuring Tua is more telling. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it could have been real easy and you just restructured Tua, and now you have a world of money open up and you're not penny pinching with some of these free agents. But a lot of people forget, like, yo, do you want to win free agency or do you want to win a Super Bowl? And then we're just so accustomed to winning free agency all the time. When we don't win it, it's a problem now on Dolphins Twitter. But at the same time, if you restructure Tua, Dolphins Twitter will collapse because it's going to be like, oh, well, now you're stuck with Tua. So, yo, chill. Let's vibe. Like I'm a big proponent of, hey, let's see what it looks like. And the Dolphins have a chance to do something right, and we could look back and see if they did it right or not.
Yeah. Before I get to my point, yes, it's an interview room. Before Will Smith drags a big table across the floor. I might watch Men in Black this weekend. That seems like something fun to do. Yeah, I don't think these restructures are for, or the latest one anyway. I don't think it's for free agency. I think it's for not so much a potential trade, but you know how Chris Greer always has to have money just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. I think that's them going, we've done our free agency bit. Calais Campbell still might come back. If he doesn't, we'll pivot. We'll go get someone else. But freeing up this cap space kind of makes them go, okay, if something, arrives on the table, a trade for a corner or for an offensive lineman or for whatever, we can then, react quickly and go get it. What's funny is you mentioned, not restructuring Tua, and from very early on Dolphin social media, which isn't a real place, it's a whole, to want Armstead and Bradley Chubb are the real leaders, Tyreek Hill and Tua never restructured their contract. They didn't want to. They don't. It's like you guys just at this point making stuff up because there's been no news or no rumors about Tua and Tyreek Hill not wanting to restructure their contract. So it's absolutely insane. But it's the off season. There's always going to be a Tua narrative out there somewhere. Have you seen the latest video of Tua on the boat party? Just enjoying himself.
That's not even a boat party. That was just on the boat. That's it. You know what I'm saying? When we go fishing, that's what it looks like. So it doesn't even have to be a party. He was just on the boat. And then, it went viral. Not all quarterbacks have the best looking bodies. And then they showed Tua's body. And then it was like, oh, he's drinking and he's not in the gym. He's not in the books. He's not here. Like, okay.
What if I told you Tua wasn't the only quarterback at that boat party?
Why are we calling it a boat party though, bro?
That's what people are calling it. Oh, at that function. Let's call it a function.
Why can't they just on the boat? Why can't they just be on the boat?
Okay. What if I told you Tua wasn't the only person on the boat?
Wouldn't mean nothing to me, but who else was on it?
Joe Burrow. Apparently, Joe Burrow was on the boat, and there's been silence. Not to mention, Joe Burrow
Oh,
is in
hold
the
on, Kadeem.
second.
Hold on, Kadeem. Hold on. We didn't see Joe Burrow. That's why there's silence.
Yeah,
What do you
and
mean? Like,
and that's
yeah, of course it's gonna be silence. You gotta have proof.
yeah. And then obviously also Joe Burrow is on the new season of quarterback as well. Um, and then there was one quarterback.
Hold on. So we went from quarterbacks to receivers, back to quarterbacks. We didn't go to a different position.
So apparently, I saw something about there being a mascots one. Which yeah, maybe or maybe not. Maybe that was just part of the trailer. But
I ain't
let me
gonna lie,
double
I'm here
check.
for the mascots.
Same, I would be too. But yeah, Joe
Bro,
Burrow.
I wanted to be a mascot, Kadeem. It looks so fun. You get to be something else. You get to be somebody else. Bro, I would have a blast if I was in a mascot costume.
Would you high five kids?
Bro, I'll be the best mascot ever.
I'll be the worst. Like I'm not high fiving you. Go away. I'm making kids cry. But yeah, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins in season 2 of quarterback.
Who you said? Joe Burrow,
Jared Goff, and
Jared Goff.
Kirk Cousins.
So we double dip in the Cousins shit.
Yep.
I think they dropped the ball with this. I think they dropped the ball with this. Like the first season of quarterbacks was really good, super good. And Kirk Cousins' stock went through the roof. With me, I liked Cousins before. I loved him after that. I don't love him less because he's not as good of a quarterback. He's still super cool. Bro, what is the name on that can?
I'm not gonna read it.
I thought it said in it.
No.
That was a London thing. In it.
I didn't want to read it out and give them free exposure because they don't sponsor the podcast, but my mouth was dry.
But nah, man. And then receivers was really good too. Like quarterbacks was super good, receivers was super good. Now that you're double dipping with quarterbacks, I'm still gonna watch it. It's like Hard Knocks. We're gonna watch Hard Knocks, but I thought if you're gonna go back to quarterbacks, give us something better than something we already seen, which is Kirk Cousins again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't love that, but I'm here for it. I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be very interesting.
Oh, wait. So we get to see Joe Burrow in the bad season.
Yeah.
Dang.
Interesting to see how that pans out and what kind of comes out of that and stuff, but that's gonna be a good one. Definitely.
Wait. I might be here for it. I might all that down talking I was just saying about the quarterbacks, I might be here for it because now Kirk Cousins got hurt too. And well, he didn't get hurt, he got yanked and he wet the bed. So we get to see how he responds to that in quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Hold on. And Detroit was like 14-2. 14-3, something like that.
It's funny you say that because is it the Lions? Yes, the Lions. So there's been a whole bunch of proposed changes.
Rule changes.
There we go. Dude, I'm tired. I apologize for any mistakes I make today. And the Lions one would be to change the seeding of the playoffs so that the proposal would amend the current seeding format to allow for wild card qualifiers. Dude, long day. To be seeded above division champions if they finish with a better regular season record.
So let me say it in the American accent because you go over here going through it. So right now, the way the seeding for the playoffs are, the number 1 seed is the division winner with the best record. That's how the seeding goes. It's division winner first, the top 4 division winners, then it goes to the wild cards. What the Lions are proposing is, nah, bro, whoever got the best record got the best record. That's it. Now, the division winners still get in, but according to where they will fall in place with the other seeds. Now, here's where it gets tricky, Kadeem, because if you open this door You might as well open the door to whoever got the best eight records go to the playoffs, regardless if you win your division or not. So, what do you think about the proposed rule change? And do you like it or no?
I like it. Because again, this season, the biggest example was obviously the Lions and the Vikings. Like, it kind of just made no sense that yes, the Lions was it the 1 seed, but the Vikings had like the second best record in the division. But because they didn't win the division, they placed so far down. So they said that obviously let's have a look. The AFC wildcard would have been, I don't know. The wildcard would have been the Rams at Philadelphia, the Bucks at Minnesota, and Green Bay at Washington. And yeah, no, so I'm a fan of it. I think it's somewhat fairer, but then like what you said, you then get a situation where people will be like, just get rid of the divisions because you're going to get one team that's going to be like 8 and 9, win the division, get into the playoffs, and it's like, why are you here? Like you shouldn't be here. So it's a dangerous road to go down. I don't think they'll introduce it, but I think it kind of adds a bit more excitement to the league and a bit more parity as well. And welcome to the chat, Cap for life.
Shout out to the person who got me the Ray-Bans with the camera and on it. Shout out to that person. Kadeem, I think it's funny how it's the Lions that's proposing this. Bro, you was obsolete a couple years ago, and now you got a little sexy. You know what I'm saying? You out of high school, you looking a little good, and now you want to be all posh. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, Lions. Come on, Detroit. Like, y'all was Detroit like 4 years ago. Y'all was still Detroit. Now y'all win 14 plus games, and now it's hey, now we want to change the rules. Like, come on now.
Well,
go ahead.
One of the rules they want to introduce is eliminating the automatic first down granted to an offense when a defender is penalized for defensive holding or illegal contact.
Don't they lead the league in illegal contacts?
They probably do. But again, it's something that I am down for. So again, I'm not against it. But I think there's bigger rules that need to be changed before we get some of these nitty-gritty ones.
I think if you win a division, you should get a home game. I do believe that. I think that's one of the perks of winning your division. You get to play a playoff home game. I don't like the fact that a team could win 7 games and go to the playoffs. I hate that. So I understand the merit of the rule. I don't know what we're going to do about it. But there's something inside of me that's here for the top eight records get a go to the playoffs. It's something. Oh, it's top 7, by the way. It's not 8. It's 7, right? Yeah, 7.
6 wildcard spots and
yeah. So it's top 7 records and rank them. I kind of like that, bro. I really do like that. But I also like, you won your division. So NFC South, you think they're gonna approve this? Nah, no one in NFC South is gonna approve this. Nah, we won our home game. I don't care. We only won 8 games. You know what I'm
saying? Not to mention this. Yeah, if you are say you get to the wild card and you're like 11 and 6 team, and you win your game, and you've got like the 7 and 9 or 7 and 10 Bucks, or whatever, you should be able to beat them. You have a better record, and if they beat you, I don't think it's because of home field advantage. I think it's because you're sorry. Same way the Lions got the first seed, home field advantage, and you wet the bed. No amount of rule change is gonna save you from that. So yeah, like it is what it is. There's probably some bitterness from Detroit, but also get better. Like, just get
Detroit got a home, got the 1 seed and a home and a bye week.
Yeah, and still lost.
No, yeah,
Right.
no.
Yeah.
Another rule proposal was from Green Bay, where you cannot basically just no tush push. Green Bay say, "Hey man, we don't want the tush push no more." I'll let you go first on this, Kadeem, because I don't know how I feel about it. Well, I do know how I feel about it, but I want to explain how I got to where I have arrived with it. So how do you feel about it? No more tush push. We ruling out the tush push. We getting rid of it or what?
Keep it. Like the Eagles might be the only team to do it, and no one's stopping them. Find a way to stop them. Just find a way. Like the Chargers, Josh got Mekhi Becton. Ask Mekhi Becton, you just spent a year in Philadelphia. How does it work? And let's try and find a way to stop it. Like, it's not like, the football in the UK that we watch, where for the most part, teams stay the same year in, year out. You might not get too many transfers. So many players have left Philadelphia this year alone who would have known the ins and outs of the tush push. If you can't find a way to tap into what they know and stop it, then they're going to keep on doing it. To me, the tush push is a more successful version of the quarterback sneak. And I'm a firm believer of if you can't stop a play, don't take it out. Like if I'm playing Madden and you can't stop my one play, oh well, I'm going to keep on using it until you can stop it.
I like it, Kadeem. But that's in Madden. I love it when it says, "Yo, stop me." That's it. Stop it. And that used to be where I was. Like, nah, bro, we're not gonna start. Oh, you're too good with this. You can't do that play no more. I hate that idea of it. But I'm no longer there no more. And it's not because I'm tired of the tush push, or it's not because I don't like Philly or whatever. It's because I heard what's Stink name? I forgot his real name. He used to play offensive line in the league. He was really good on Sports Center, and then we went to Fox. I don't know where he's at now, but he's still really good wherever he is. But he was like, "Yo, I'm tired of all the offensive advantages in football." And he was an offensive lineman. And I'm tired of it too. You know what I'm saying? So when the NFL made a rule for the defense saying you cannot do this on defense or on special teams, or you can't put someone over the center, and you can't use leverage in field goal blocking, or you can't line up over the center and on field goals. You can't use multiple teammates to push another teammate on defense to block field goals. Citing, well, now you're putting too much weight on the offense on that one guy. Nah, bro, it got to be both ways. So if we're going to take it out for the defense, we got to take it out for the offense. That's it. Now, if you want to do it on offense, then we got to be able to do it on the defense. There's no reason why you outlaw it on one side of the ball, but you don't outlaw it on the other. So that is simply put for me. When I heard that, I was like, you know what, you're right. Either take it out or allow the defense to do it. Lastly, I think when it comes to the only podcast that I know of that has a mental health episode once a year, CTE awareness, we all know the risk and the linemen, what the linemen go through when it comes to post-football careers and CTE, and how much impact they absorb in the trenches. And here we go, allowing a play to emphasize on more impact in the trenches. And I'm like, nah, bro. So if the NFL is talking about player safety, then we can't do it. We can't allow it. And if the NFL outlawed it on one side of the ball, citing player safety, then we can't allow it on the other side. And that's it. Now, if it's not player safety and there are no scientific tests or studies that say, well, maybe people don't get hurt as much, then bring it back on the other side of the ball. Mark Schlereth, Shout out to Cat for Life. Mark Shalev is the one who said it. This is all his take, by the way. It's not even Charlie Touche's take. This is all his take. And I'm like, yo, I co-sign that. So yeah. So if we're gonna take it out on one side of the ball, we gotta take it out on both. If we're gonna allow it on one, you gotta allow it on the other, and that's it. Simply put.
Well, like you said, what if they? Okay, we're going to keep the tush push, but similar to how if you're going to have an offensive lineman, as a receiver or something, you have to announce it. So, okay, like we're doing this play, and then you can say to the defense, if you want to jump over the snap or do whatever, again, they're not going to do that because of the injuries and stuff like that. But if they're going to keep, for me, it's one until you stop it. I'm going to keep on doing it. But yeah, I think you made or Mark made a very good point, and just have it so that okay, some of the rules we've brought in to better protect players, on this play we're going to allow it. So if you want to try and jump the snap and whatever and dive over, hey, so be it. And yeah, I do think one way to potentially stop it would be to speak to rugby coaches, because in rugby you got the scrum, which is probably the closest thing you have to a tush push, and kind of go, okay, again, how do you guys gain advantage in a scrum, and kind of go from there. But
this is what I'm saying. Yeah, you might be onto something with that. But as far as I know, in the scrum, the rules are equal on both sides. You can do the same thing. The defense can't do that. It's outlaw. You can't push a teammate across the line of scrimmage with, like, it used to be with two hands. Then it was one hand. Then it was you can't even line up across the above over the center. You know what I'm saying? So nah, bro. Like the rules have to be the same on both sides of the ball. Like we understand that what the rule changes in the past 10 years have done for football, 15 years have done for football and the offense. And now we get more points, and now it's a sexier game, and now the viewing has increased by 50%. You know what I'm saying? I understand that, and I'm thankful for it because it's a better product, probably. But to allow a rule on one side of the ball and not on the other, that's a little more, nah, bro. That's a little like, nah, bro, we're not doing that. That we not showing favoritism to your favorite kid. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like it. So it's got to be the same across the board. And then y'all got so many rules on offense already. We can't give you this one where we can't even do it, but y'all can. That's wild to me.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. You got any more rules that have been proposed that you want to run through?
I don't.
Cap made a comment earlier. He says he keeps hearing Campbell, the linebacker, at pick 13, and it came out. When did it come out? Came out today.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. What's today? Thursday.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like it came out on Tuesday.
To be fair, it may have. Yahoo Sports has the article today, which is why I said it came out today. But what they're saying is, Campbell didn't participate in Bama's pro day on Wednesday as he underwent left shoulder surgery.
Labrum surgery.
Yeah, a torn labrum following the scouting combine. And it puts his availability for the start of the season in doubt. But he's still expected to be a first-round pick. If you're the Dolphins, does that rule him out at pick 13, that he could miss the start of the season?
It's a no for me, dogs. I'm not drafting a linebacker at 13 that's not even going to be who he used to be that we know of until he could prove it in the first round. There's no way. I'm not doing it. Labrum, bro. I heard you got to sleep like this with a labrum. Like you can't even lay down, bro. That's what I heard. Like when you have labrum surgery, you got to sleep on the couch sitting up. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot, bro. I'm good on that. So, nah, I'm not going, bro. And you already know, unless my team is so well put together where all I need is a dope linebacking core, then yeah, I would take a linebacker in the first round. Unless he's like a generational, and we're not talking about edge. I'm not talking about edge. I'm talking about like a stand-up traditional linebacker. Like unless he's generational talent, nah, bro. I'm not going linebacker in the first half of the first round. I wouldn't do it. And now labrum surgery, no, sir. Not I said to fly. Not me, said the flea.
So if he say this injury is quite serious and he falls to the second round and he's around pick 40, would you take him around then? Again, if you're the Dolphins?
Now we're talking. Now I get a discount. And I can entertain moving up for him, pending how much I have to spend to move up from 48. You said round the 40s, not much that you have to spend to move up a few spots. So I will entertain that for sure. But a torn labrum, bro, for a linebacker. It's not like we're talking about like a torn labrum for a kicker. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to use his labrum. You know what I'm saying? Like, we talking about a linebacker. This might be recurring. So no, it's a no for me, dogs. What about you?
I wouldn't even take him in the second.
That was your man too. On mock draft Monday, he was your man.
It was, but no, it is. It's if we're gonna, and it's. I don't believe in this, but if we're gonna go on the assumption that it's all in for the Dolphins under Chris Greer this season, you can't take Campbell. You can't, unless he's sitting there in the 7th round. You can't take Campbell before day 3 because that. Everyone says that you say all the time. Round 1 starter, round 2 starter, round 3, rotation. But
should be a starter, yeah.
So I've taken a guy in round 1, and even if he's there in round 2, I'm taking Campbell, and he might not start, and then I can't do it. I can't do it. I have too many holes on this defense where, say if Channing Tindall had panned out, and it's like, you know what, he's about to hit free agency. We don't know if we're going to keep him because he played himself into a really good contract. Then I might take Campbell and be like, hey, we can kind of sit Campbell for the year because we've still got Tindall, let him continue the rehab, all that kind of stuff. But the Dolphins don't have that. Yes, they picked up Willie Gay, they picked up KJ Britt. I just don't think you can afford to waste, and not waste, but spend a 2nd round pick on someone who the Dolphins don't have the best injury history in the league. And you're adding someone else who is coming off for torn labrums. Nah, I'm good.
Bro, it's even this draft. 1st round supposed to be a starter. Top 5 is supposed to be generational, perennial Pro Bowler if you're top 5. You know what I'm saying? And that's every year. Every year, if you're picking the top 5, it's supposed to be a guarantee. Guarantee. It's supposed to be. 1st round, you're supposed to be a starter. 2nd round, you're supposed to be a starter. 3rd round, you should be a starter. You're supposed to be starting in the 3rd. Maybe you don't hit. 4th round is developmental and everything behind you just hoping. You're hoping you hit something. And in this draft alone, you're going to have starters guaranteed. You're going to have a starter guaranteed in every round, in every draft. But you're going to have a chance of more starters in this draft because of the D-line depth and the O-line depth in the 4th round. So you're telling you if you, and I'm not saying Jihad Campbell is not a 4th round pick because he is. And I'm not saying he's not worth it. But I'm saying for the Miami Dolphins to have to hit on as many picks as we have to hit on, if you look at our free agency, Kadeem, all of these free agency acquisitions are all backups. All of them are backups except for James Daniels. All of them are backups. And in the draft, you're probably going to be drafting your starters. And all these people we just picked up in free agency are depth pieces. When was the last time the Miami Dolphins hit on every single pick in the draft? If ever.
When has any team ever done that?
That's my point.
Ever.
That's my point. So, bro, I know this is not mock draft Monday, but there's a part of me, bro. There is a part of me. The Eagles have like 4 5th round picks, and the Bills have 3 5th round picks. There's a part of me, Kadeem, that wants to entertain trading one of these 4th round picks for 2 5th round picks. There's a part of me that wants to do it. Because I see, and there's another part of me that doesn't trust the Dolphins to do it because I can't trust what they'll come up with if they did do it. I could trust myself. I know what I want, and I know where I would go with some of these picks and these players, but I can't trust the Dolphins to get it right moving back to pick up 2 5th rounds. So bro. I've been mocking. Yo, I traded a 4th round pick and 2 7s for 3/5. Like, yo, I got good quality back here. And if you want good quality depth, Yosh, bro, that is it's here. This is the draft to get your quality depth. So if you see the Dolphins trade back in the 4th round to get multiple 5th round picks, do not be shocked, because they actually did it right. They just got to hit on those picks now, because you can find quality depth in those picks. I just don't trust them to do it. Another player that we've discussed. Now, I actually knew this, but since we brought up Jihad Campbell, when I said Will Johnson, cornerback for Michigan, is gonna fall to 13 for the Dolphins, the Dolphins will have a choice to make. Like, yo, you can take Will Campbell. I said Will Campbell. Will Johnson. You could take cornerback Will Johnson from Michigan at 13. He'll be there waiting for you. But I alluded to Derek Stingley Jr. disappearing in his last season in college, and not having that productive season. And it's the same thing that Will Johnson did. He blew up and then disappeared in his last season in college. But both of them were injured. Derek Stingley Jr. got injured, and he just didn't play. And now look how good Derek Stingley Jr. is. Will Johnson was injured, and he didn't play. And the jury's still out. Like, what do you do with Will Johnson? Is he going to fall to you at 13 and you're going to pass him up? What if he's the next Pat Surtain, which I expect him to be? Derek Stingley Jr., which I expect him to be. He got turf toe, Kadeem. Turf toe scares me so much, Kadeem. It scares me so freaking much, bro. But I will answer this one first. I'm still taking Will Johnson at 13 overall. What say you?
Yeah, I'd probably take him as well. So I want to get to this very quickly, because Lo-Fi Anime came in and said, if Genti's there, do you take him? Clear top 5 talent in this draft. And it just said, Cap, you take Genti. If he's there at 13, I do. You take Genti at 13, you're going to get yourself fired, because you're running back at 13 with your offensive line, your defensive line, all that kind of stuff. Me personally, nah. Like, I'd rather reach on an offensive lineman than take a running back at 13 with all the holes the Dolphins have. That's me personally.
You know what, Kadeem? That's not a bad assessment. What your words that you just said was not bad. And what does reaching on an O lineman look like? Charlie Touche just had a rant where he said he won't take a guard in the top 13 of a draft. I would reach for a guard at 13 if I was the Dolphins, and not take Ashton Genti at 13 because of our needs. Like, yo, you have Devon Achane. I want to call him friend of the podcast so much, but he's not a friend of the podcast. Bro, you have literally one of the best running backs in the league on your team. Why would you double down at running back? And not only do you have a running back in Devon Achane, you traded a 3rd round pick for his backup, Jalen Wright Jr. Or he's not Junior. Jalen Wright.
It's just Jalen Wright, yeah.
So you traded a 3rd round pick for Jalen Wright. So now you have Devon Achane and Jalen Wright. And to top it all off, shout out to Lo-Fi. Appreciate you. I think Omarion Hampton is better than Ashton Genti. I'm just saying. Hey, y'all at me during fantasy football season.
What's interesting, so Lo-Fi says top 5 generational. Do you remember when Carl Pitts was coming out of college? Generational tight ends. Can't miss. Oh my God. Like, what's Carl Pitts done? And again, he's gone to the Falcons, but that's the issue with a generational talent. You put him in the wrong team, or if you put him in a good team, you never know. Like, you, in the nicest way, and I'm not saying Genti is a bad player, but put him up against guys who can hit hard and guys who deserve to be in the league, you just don't know. No one cares about a backfield. That's fine. Devon Achane is going to keep on scaring people. I get it. Genti looks great, but Genti is the kind of back where, to me, him going to the top 10 shouldn't be feasible. Like, again, if you're the Eagles and you could take him, yeah, why not? Because look at your offensive line. Do what you want. But it's like, the Giants took Saquon Barkley. What are you doing? And then Saquon Barkley had a good career in New York, but it should never have been there in the first place. So listen, if the Dolphins had hit on their offensive lineman in the past few years and the defensive line was great, and say they'd won a playoff game, but they're picking at 13 because they traded up or whatever, I might say go get Ashton Genty. I might say that. But what will happen is you're going to draft Genty at 13, not fix your offensive line, and then when he's averaging 2 yards per carry, you're going to blame the running back or blame whoever. And it's like, had you just reached for a guard or taken Will Johnson or traded back, Genty's probably going to go in the top 10. Looks like I think he'd be mocked to the Raiders quite a bit. Or maybe he goes to Chicago. Cool, great. Do what you got to do. Just don't be surprised if he's not generational in some of these teams because they reached and didn't sort out, the trenches and stuff like that.
I was going to save this for mock draft Monday. I'll say it now because it fits what you're saying so well. I only like one receiver coming out in this draft. Just one. I'm head over heels in the draft. I'm knee deep in the draft content now. I'm all the way in. Tush 24. I'm locked in. I like 2 receivers now in this draft. There's only 2 receivers in this draft that I would really want Miami to go after. Like, look, I don't believe Tyreek Hill is going to be a Dolphin when it comes to week 1 of the season. I believe Tyreek Hill is going to get traded probably after the draft because it'll be in June, post June 1st. In my opinion, if it's if it's during the draft or before the draft, it puts the Dolphins in a bad position, but nonetheless, you still need a receiver. So there's a part of me that says the Dolphins were going to go Brian Thomas Jr. last year. The Dolphins were going to go. This is not even just speculation. This is factual. The Dolphins were going to go Brian Thomas Jr. or Chop Robinson, and we know where we went. We went Chop Robinson. So that means the Dolphins want a receiver for whatever reason. Whatever the reason is, maybe because you pay so much for a receiver and you want to keep the cash flowing and have one walkout, seamless transition, whatever. And after Waddle season last year, do you blame the Dolphins? So there's a part of me, Kadeem, that's like, oh, DraftKings sportsbook, what's your odds for the Dolphins taking a receiver in the first round? Because I would not be shocked if the Dolphins go receiver at 13. Now, I do like a receiver, Kadeem. This is Xavien Williams. He's my favorite receiver in the draft. But Matthew Golden.
Yeah.
Listen, Kadeem, I can't get enough of this. And this is gonna sound pretty ditty, but I be in bed, Kadeem.
Stop there. Listen, you don't need to finish that sentence.
Bro, listen, I be in bed, bro, and I'll be watching YouTube and Matthew Golden highlights. I'm like, bro, he's not Tyreek Hill. But if the Dolphins know we're moving on from Tyreek Hill, the best replacement you can do right now today in the draft is Matthew Golden. His ceiling is way higher than Xavien Williams. Xavien Williams more like a Mike Evans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what that would look like if you have a Mike Evans and like a Mike Evans type of player and a Jalen Waddle. You know what I'm saying? And then you have Akine and Malik Washington. Cool. But Matthew Golden's ceiling, bro, is through the roof. Ceiling through the roof. Shout out Michael Jordan. He's like a young Stephon Diggs. So if I told you could have a young Stephon Diggs on this team right now and not have Tyreek Hill, I think everyone would be happy with that. Like, all right, you know what? Tyreek's on the way out. How are we going to replace him? Matthew Golden is Tyreek's replacement. So I would not trip if the Dolphins would receive a first round. I will say this, though. According to what you said about Ashton Genty, like, yeah, he could go somewhere and be great, and then he could go somewhere and be trash. If Golden came to the Dolphins and we kept Tyreek Hill, Golden would just, like, his talents would be suppressed. You know what I'm saying? If Golden goes to Houston or Golden goes to the Cowboys, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. It's that simple. So it's the same thing with Ashton Genty. Like, yo, what's he going to do in Miami with no O-line playing behind Devon Achane? You know what I'm saying? It's just not. It may not be a waste of a pick, but it's not a smart pick for the Dolphins.
Listen, don't get me wrong. You know, the Dolphins could line up with two backs in the backfield and motion out. Achan runs a lot of routes, has a lot of catches. But I think he had like 0 drops last year. So there's things you can do with Genti. I'm not saying it's just it's never going to work. You don't have the best offensive line in football. You barely have a top 16, offensive line, and to take a running back. Wow,
And
must.
some of that is because your quarterback gets the ball out fast too.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have a quarterback that got the ball out so fast, would it even be top 16?
It's crazy.
89 receptions for Devon A10. Last thing before you move on, last thing I'll say about Matthew Golden, wherever he's drafted in this year's draft, he should have been drafted higher. That's all I'm gonna say. Wherever he gets drafted, he should have been drafted higher. Matthew Golden.
Want to get to this. Cap said, I had a torn labrum. Surgery is not guaranteed. Shoulder can still pop out after physical therapy. When I swim or play basketball is when you feel it the most. D-Wade had the same injury. Yeah, like it's
crazy, bro. And let's go get a linebacker with a labrum surgery, bro.
Then Lo-Fi said, Genti, Achan in the backfield might give the NFL think about who back there. Two about the middle of the field is average at best. What's interesting is that part of the reason why I think the NFL does care about the Dolphins backfield because you let Achan, get into space, he's gone. You're not stopping him. But part of the reason that they might not, or listen, I don't know. I know some NFL players, and I'm sure they'll say yes, we worry about Devon Achan and stuff like that. But it's the Dolphins offensive line. I had a conversation with 5 Yard Lee the other day. Shout out to Dougie Dewong. He posted, or someone posted a video of the Dolphins comeback win against Baltimore, and basically, me and him had a very brief conversation, which was someone will watch the touchdowns that the Dolphins that Tua had against Baltimore, and turn around and say that Tua can't throw deep or can't create or script. And the reason I've left it up, Tua without the middle of the field is average at best. Some of Tua's throws to the sideline or deep and just dashing up all over the field. I can't sit here and say, I don't understand that someone can say Tua without the middle of the field is average at best. When you see just Tua, like he's killed at the very least, he's killed the narrative that he can't throw deep. So if you can throw deep, then you're not really throwing to the middle of the field, are you? But it is what it is. Charlie, anything else to add?
Hit that like button, please. Hit the subscribe button, please. It does a world of help for us here at Go Time Dolphins. We appreciate all the comments. We appreciate going back and forth with everybody. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Alrighty.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time.
Hey, the outro go kind of hard too.
It does. 100%.
You got all the friends of the podcast in there?
Don't say that because like we're still gonna do that quiz, like who are the players and the thing. I don't know when we're gonna get time to do this episode, but I feel like we need to do it. Shout out to Cliff D. Josh Trump in the comments says, team needs a total rebuild. Greer made a mess. I've said it so many times. I'm going to say it again. To Cliff and to anyone else who thinks that Greer made a total mess. What were and are your expectations of the Dolphins over the past 2 seasons and I guess this season? Because if your expectations were playoffs and a deep playoff run, please explain to me how Greer made a mess, because you expected the team that Chris Greer built to have a deep playoff run, and Chris Greer isn't on the field running, blocking, all that kind of stuff. So if you expected this team to reach the playoffs, win divisions, I don't understand how Chris Greer made a mess. I can understand I can understand being annoyed and frustrated, but I don't understand if you think this is a good team and then blame Chris Greer for building something that you thought was good. If you think the team is trash, I don't like Tua, I don't like Hill, I don't like all that kind of stuff, then yeah, Chris Greer made a mess because you don't like what he's built. But if you think this is a good team and it's underperformed, that's not necessarily Chris Greer's fault because he doesn't play the game as well. All he does is build it, say to the coaches, go out there and do it. But I feel like I did put repeating myself. So yeah.
We had an episode. One gotta go. And it was Chris Greer, Coach McDaniel, Tua. And then we had another iteration of that where we're like, whose fault is it basically? And I out of Tua, McDaniel, and Greer, I would always lean to Greer being last. Like, it's not his fault. It's more so McDaniel's fault and more so on Tua's shoulders because he's not available. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last person I would put it on is Greer because exactly what you just said. Yo, our expectations was, and then at one point we were almost the 1 seed. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, we right here. And then until we weren't, until everybody got hurt, until we started playing like trash, until we ran into Buffalo 2 times in a row. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then coach not making the jump that he needs to make in 4 seasons. You know what I'm saying? We all applaud Tua for growing, and then under McDaniel, and McDaniel's not making the growth. So now I will push back a little bit and say this. When you said, what are your expectations for this year? I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem. I'm the biggest Dolphin fan, the biggest Tua fan, the biggest Chris Greer fan. I don't know what I got this year. I'm like, yo, I don't know what the Dolphins gonna do this year. I don't have Super Bowl aspirations this year for the Miami Dolphins. Now, every season before this, since Mike McDaniel, absolutely. I absolutely feel you on that because I did think we were supposed to be successful with that team, and I think we were successful to a degree. And then durability issues for the entire team. Yeah, that was not McDaniel dropping the ball, not getting plays out on time. Tyreek Hill literally dropping passes. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro. So this year, I don't know what I got for the Dolphins, bro. I'm really sitting here like, you know what? What we gonna do? Y'all show me what we about to do because I don't have my expectations for the Dolphins right now. Like, I'm literally just like, I don't know. I'm just watching the games. I don't think the Dolphins are a Super Bowl. We're going to make a Super Bowl run this year. It's possible. And for sure, it's possible. We have the pieces to do it. We didn't lose so many pieces where it's like, oh, we're done. The window's closed. No, we had the expectations and they didn't meet them. And now it's hard for me to be like, well, how do I get back to there again? Knowing that what I know now, which is Tyreek might not be all in. Tua doesn't know how to slide when he has to slide. He doesn't know how to be available for his team. He just doesn't. He's just like a kid that got paid $50+ million and wants to play football, as opposed to a person who has to understand the entire franchise is in his hands. No one's more disappointed about that than I am. You know what I'm saying? So McDaniel, bro, practice with a clock and timeouts in practice, please and thank you, management. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Chris Greer is the last person I'm blaming, and it falls on Tua and McDaniel, if anything.
100%. Shout out to FA, says, what's up, fellas? We'll touch on this briefly. Part of the reason we haven't spoken about it because it will be a very, very short conversation. X on the dive bar. Shout out to the dive bar. Amazing guys over there. Amazing interviews, and they had X. He said a lot of interesting stuff. You know, he said that him and Chris Greer, him and Brian Flores gets on really well. How much of it have you seen, by the way?
I only seen the clip that you sent.
What clip was that? I can't remember at this point.
Oh, maybe you didn't send it. Maybe someone else sent it. It's basically Xavien Howard saying if the Dolphins had Brian Flores as D coordinator and Coach McDaniel as offensive coordinator, Dolphins would have been unstoppable and we would have made the Super Bowl. That's what Xavien Howard said. And you could kind of see how excited he got about it. Like there's no way we would have been able to be stopped. And he was unaware that the Dolphins actually did try to make that happen. The Dolphins really did try to make McDaniel the OC when Brian Flores was the coach. And it's pretty telling, Kadeem, because the coach gets to pick his coordinators. So the fact that the Dolphins try to make McDaniel the coordinator later on in Flores' tenure kind of says that they kind of took that ability away from Flores and took that power away from him because your coordinators were super trash. You know what I'm saying? And I would also add this. McDaniel wouldn't have been the same with Brian Flores, under Brian Flores. There's no way we would have got the coach McDaniel if Brian Flores was the head coach. It is no way. No way. I'm not buying it.
100%. Shout out to Kenneth Rankin. There's a clip. It's the pick six of Xavien Howard against the Patriots. You know, when he dives into the end zone, he kind of like grabs his private area and stuff like that.
He does a Marshawn Lynch.
Yes. And he explains why he done that. And he said he done it facing the Dolphins sideline and say, yo, pay me. And they were like, but they paid you already. Like you got paid every offseason. So what are you doing here? But he was like, I think that was like his fifth interception of the season. And he was like, I want my money. And he said Brian Flores found it funny. But he goes, at that point, he was like, he was just balling out and he wanted another pay rise. So I'll end on this, Charlie. Would you bring Xavien Howard back? Even if it was for vet minimum. For vet minimum, like pennies on the dollar. Would you bring Xavien Howard back? If you're not watching on YouTube, you will see that it is, or if you're watching on YouTube, you will see that it's just me at the moment. That Charlie has left. Charlie has exited the building because I dare to ask, would he bring back X? That Charlie hates X. Charlie would never, ever bring back X. Charlie wanted X gone while he was in the building. Now he's gone. I legit don't even know if he is going to come back. I will end the podcast very shortly. But what I will say, Flo had us on the right track, regardless of how he was. I liked Flores. Was shocked when he went. But if you hate McDaniel because he can't beat winning teams, that goes back to the Brian Flores. Since Tua has been drafted, the Dolphins have won, I think it's 2 games. Like since Tua played in the NFL, the Dolphins have won 2 games with backup quarterback, both under Mike McDaniel. And part of the reason, I know Charlie believes this as well, part of the reason, the Dolphins kind of are where they are is because they waited the first 2 years of Tua's rookie contract. So I don't hate Brian Flores. Charlie, as far as I know, doesn't either. But I disagree. They had us on the right track because, again, week 17 against the Titans, you have to win to make the playoffs. And he schemes just the worst game. The Dolphins go out, he loses his job, all that kind of stuff. So Charlie's not coming back. I am going to get us up out of here. Make sure you are around on Monday for Mock Draft Monday. Full 7 rounds. I think there will be cheats. And I feel like there's a lot of anti-Tua fans in the chat. So thank you for joining us. Keep the comments going. I'm probably going to jump off the live, but can I respond to some of these comments as well? And we shall see you on the next one. Peace.